Welcome Loops to another controller unboxing. This time it's the 8BitDo Pro 2 Bluetooth Gamepad Classic Edition that retails for around $50. Now that was a mouthful, but let's continue. The artwork is fairly basic with just the bare minimum of details for what's inside. Once the paper sleeve is removed, you are greeted with a gray box that's very easy to open. What is not mentioned anywhere are these two small bonuses that were included. The first extra are these two multicolored thumbstick grips, which I never did end up using. Second extra item is a retro looking enamel pin that might be 8BitDo's logo. The controller is covered with a plastic shield that keeps the controller in place during shipping and prevents the joysticks from being damaged. A thin piece of plastic is also covering the buttons, which needs to be removed. Lifting the controller out of the way will reveal a very helpful manual to get you started and a short USB-A to USB-C cable. The 8BitDo Pro 2 controller was described as one of their most advanced controllers when it debuted in 2021 due to the amount of features it packs. It features Bluetooth, USB-C, a rechargeable battery, turbo buttons, Nintendo Switch support, and two back buttons that can be customized using the 8BitDo app that's available on PC, Android, and iOS. Regardless of what's built into it, if it's not comfortable to use, no amount of features will matter. If I were to describe the grip and feel of the controller, it would be like mixing the Nintendo Switch Pro controller with the PS4 controller. When using it in games that require only the D-pad and main buttons, it feels great to use. But once I switch over to modern games that require joysticks and triggers, it started to become less than favorable in comparison to Xbox or PlayStation controllers. Of course, most will not buy this to use on an Xbox Series X or PlayStation 5, since it would require additional adapters to use on those consoles. Nevertheless, the joysticks get the job done, and with time I may come to grips with them. The triggers, on the other hand, are kind of worse than expected. If you have ever used a PS4 or PS5 controller, imagine those triggers but with very little resistance. The shape is fine, but the actual spring doesn't even come close to what I think Xbox has gotten so right. One more negative for some Nintendo Switch players would be the vibration, which lacks the HD rumble a Switch Pro controller supports. Now let's go over my favorite features during my playtime with the Pro 2 controller. The battery life is amazing. On PlayStation 5 I always have to play plugged in because the DualSense controller doesn't last more than 5 to 6 hours. The 8BitDo controller is the opposite, as I rarely need to charge it, which leads me to believe their claim of a 20-hour playtime. Another feature that stood out has to be the profile switch button. Using what they call 8BitDo Ultimate software, you can set up 3 different profiles that allow you to change between button configurations on the fly. Overall, if I were to grade this controller, it would be a high rating for retro gaming or any that's playable with a D-pad. In modern games, on the other hand, it falls somewhere in the average bracket. But in any case, if you are looking for a controller with a great D-pad and battery life, with modern features like a USB-C port or back buttons, I would recommend adding this controller to your arsenal. On the other hand, if you are looking for something to replace your PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X controller, I would recommend looking towards getting the Pro models available for each of those controllers. We've reached the end of the loop. Thanks for watching.